Ah, you lovely people. I hope you had a good snack. I know I did. Professor Singer only gets bread and water. He wants me to donate the Cheetos to charity. Screw you. I'm keeping the Cheetos, Peter. Anyway, let's wrap up this module on utilitarianism and justice. Now, in the last video, we had seen that Mill had broken justice into three components. Again, two that came from the emotions and one that came from reason. And now the component from reason we got to think about, because that's the one that's the rational rule of conduct, what's going to tell us what is just and what is not just. It ensures that our emotions are carried in the right direction. And as we saw, that rule of conduct is the principle of utility. And so we need that final piece of the puzzle, Mr. Mill, right, to tell us if we base justice on utilitarianism, if justice's principle of rational conduct is the principle of utility, well, how on earth are we going to avoid all those problems and right violations we saw in the last module? And I should emphasize, Mill takes rights pretty seriously. He is going to think that rights are something that society needs to protest. So yeah, killing innocent people to save more lives, breaking promises and contracts, engaging in torture, spying on undressing women, requiring of the suffering of a child for omelos. Mill, what I think would say is that, look, society needs to protect these rights. Society should not be allowing these things to happen. And society should not be letting those violations happen. Yes, even if in certain situations, those rights violations seem to promote the greater utility. Because on all those charts for all those problems, we saw those charts seem to suggest utility said torture, kill the innocent person, allow the peeping Tom to spy, all these bad things utility seemed to be cool with. All those examples seem to suggest greater utility is promoted by violating rights of certain individuals. Now, Mill is going to say, you give those examples, he's going to say no, no, no. Good heavens, no. Yeah, maybe Jeremy Bentham wants that, but I'm John Stuart Mill. No. Don't do it, because there is a greater, a deeper, a more fundamental, and you can't have fundamental without fun. I don't know why I said that. Really, I don't. That was weird. Yes, greater. There is a greater, a deeper, a more fundamental type of utility at stake. There is a utility, on those pictures, that is some utility, but that's ignoring this greater fundamental utility that comes from the satisfaction of our most basic of human interests. Now, what interest could we have as humans that is so basic, so fundamental that those rights absolutely have to be respected, even for a utilitarian like John Stuart Mill? What interest could have such magical powers? Well, I'll tell you what it is. Jump to page 226, jump to 226, scroll all the way down, and we can see Mill's answer there. The interest involved in that is that of security. To everyone's feeling the most vital of all interests. Nearly all other earthly benefits are needed by one person, not needed by another, and many of them can, if necessary, be cheerfully foregone or replaced by something else. But security, no human being can possibly do without. On it we depend for all our immunity from evil, and for the whole value of all and every good, beyond the passing moment, since nothing but the gratification of the instant could be of any worth to us, again, if we didn't have security, if we could be deprived of everything the next instant by whoever was momentarily stronger than ourselves. Security, baby. Security is the most fundamental of interests, according to Mill, because security is necessary for us to enjoy or benefit from any other good. To accomplish anything of substantive or real value, we need security first. Mill says we can give up a lot of stuff and still be perfectly happy, but we cannot give up security because that is the road to misery and ruin. And he says, a progressive being could never progress. Because again, he says all you could have is instant gratification of the moment. You could never develop your higher order capacities because that takes work and time. You don't have time to take classes if you're worried that someone could kill you in an instant. We wouldn't be here right now. We couldn't do all, there would be no culture. It would be wiped out because no one could spend the time developing it, cultivating it, creating it. Yeah, so a progressive being without security could never develop their higher order capacities that are so essential for, eudaimonism, our happiness. We need to start first in a position of security for anything else to truly be possible. And Mill's saying it's our rights that protect our security. And so you cannot violate rights. We have to protect rights very, very firmly, because allowing rights violations begins to erode that security. Because once rights are getting violated, you're not going to feel secure anymore. And we won't have as much time to devote to developing to take this class. You're too busy trying to make sure no one can kill you or steal from you or take everything away from you that you value. So yeah, you could harm an innocent person to save others. You could. And maybe in the moment, the utility looks like that's how it works. But now, hey, we live in a society where innocent people aren't safe, where an innocent person can be killed if the math seems to show it. So yeah, harming an innocent person might seem like a great idea, promoting more utility, but that, Mill says, is an illusion because you're losing security. By violating an innocent person's right to not be harmed, you've created a deep, deep problem. That deeper, more important, that more fundamental utility has been taken away because now innocent people aren't safe. So we need that right. Or you could break that promise a little, go from harming and killing an innocent person. Let's go down to breaking that promise to your friend, which seems like a little simple, nothing major. But now you have a relationship where breaking promises is seen as okay. There we can make commitments to each other where we can then break at a moment's notice because utility seems to think it's okay. So yes, breaking a promise, breaking a commitment to a friend may seem like it promotes utility, but that too is an illusion because now we lose security, or in this case, trust. And so again, we've lost that deeper, more important utility that security and trust that we have in our friends. If they say they're going to do something, they do it. It's not a math problem to decide whether they're going to keep their promise. They should keep it. And yeah, we could let the pervert watch the woman, get undressed, but now we live imagine that's pretty horrifying because now we live in a society where no woman will ever feel safe undressing because we said, oh, well, we can let the pervert watch you. Don't worry. You'll never know where the cameras are hidden in your house. Don't worry. You'll never know. Yeah. But now we're all, living in fear because we don't have that right to privacy. So again, it might seem okay to let the pervert watch the naked women, but that too is an illusion because we lose security and privacy. Or as the British say, privacy. I love that word. We lose security and privacy, and lose then that deeper, more important utility. We don't want to live in fear that someone could be watching us hidden. And we're not comforted when we don't feel more secure when they say, don't worry, you'll never know. Gee whiz, thanks. And so on and so on through all those other examples. Mill would suggest that, yes, it seems like more utility is being produced in all those examples, but no. Mill says, maybe Jeremy Bentham, talk to him, talk to my godfather, but not me. Mill says, not me. I do not support these right violations because utilitarianism needs to care first and foremost about those fundamental and deep utilities associated with security. And the firm protection of your rights ensures that utility is protected, that deep, that fundamental utility. So yes, it might seem utility allows these rights violations to happen, but nope. Those little tables that I showed you, pop them up there, yeah. They're missing out on, they're ignoring that deeper utility associated with security. So we have to be very firm when it comes to rights, according to Mill, and not casually disregard them when it seems like the math says to. And so with that, Mill thinks he's done it. He thinks he's resolved the tensions between utilitarianism and justice. Utilitarianism demands the greatest good for the greatest number, and promoting the greatest good for the greatest number requires security. Security requires the firm protection of rights, and the firm protection of rights is what justice is about. You see that chain of reasoning, rewind the tape, that chain of reasoning going from utilitarianism to justice. And we get it, Mill thinks. And so, yeah, utilitarianism and justice seem to be buddies now. And so we can just finish up this Mill reading now by just finishing off then how Mill kind of connects everything together to just say what justice means, because he does want to conclude with just reaffirming the essentialness of justice and rights as essential parts of utilitarian morality. So jump to page 231. 231, right at the top there, you can see Mill say, justice is the name for certain classes of moral rules which concern the essentials of human well-being more nearly, and are therefore of more absolute obligation than any other rules for the guidance of life. And the notion which we have found to be of the essence of the idea of justice, that of a right residing in an individual, implies and testifies to this more binding obligation. Because again, justice, as he's saying there, is about rights. Why do rights generate such strong obligations? Well, he's told us. He's given us the utilitarian answer about why rights are so important, because they're about security. They are what secure us to have happiness, that great happiness of eudaimonism, the exercise and cultivation of our higher faculties. That's what utilitarianism morality wants, because without justice, without rights, our lives would be miserable and uncertain. But protecting our rights, protecting our security gives us greater happiness, because again, we can develop and exercise those higher order capacities that distinguish us from the other animals. And so, like good utilitarians, we should, of course, care about the good for everyone, the rights for everyone, the security for everyone. And so we are all equal. There's where we get equality. We're all equal in that respect, that all of our rights matter equally, according to Mill, according to utilitarianism, according to justice. And we must then also be treated impartially. No one gets bias or prejudice. No, we're all equals, treated impartially, just like the bloody utilitarians love to say. So in the end, Mill says, now that he's put that utilitarianism into the heart, the rational rule of justice, we can get this combination. I'm talking funny. I don't know why. Peter, why? I don't know. He's useless. Justice is a combination of security, impartiality, equality. That's where he ends this reading. Security is in the form of rights. Those rights are what secure us, so we can attain the higher utility, the higher happiness from using our higher capacities. And that is justice, security, impartiality, equality. And that's all there is, folks. That's how Mill has resolved the tension between utilitarianism and justice, and what justice means for a utilitarian like Mill, and why he thinks justice can still be justice. And he thinks he's actually improved justice. If you read, he says, I've fixed justice. I've put it on a firm foundation, the principle of utility. I don't know. Do you agree? No. Let's remove some arm flab. I think that's enough. Woo! Pat yourself on the back. We've done another unit. You guys are doing so good. That was a very hard text, but a very great text. And I want you to know that you guys, if you want, you can get through some difficult, I'm here to help, but you can get through some difficult texts that I think are very important for any educated person to at least have read once in your life. And I'm happy that I get to be here. I'm serious. I'm so happy that I get to be helping you through it at least once. Maybe you like it. If you don't, that's fine too. Not everyone does. It's okay. But Mill ain't easy. But the higher pleasures from him may be great. In any case, I digress. Take the module quiz, tweet a little, and be proud of yourself. You've come so far. I really want to encourage you guys. This is why I hate not being in a classroom, because I want to be a cheerleader and be like, you guys are doing hard stuff. Be proud. I know it sucks. It sucks because it's hard, but I think it's rewarding, and I want to be there for you. Anyhow, take the quiz, tweet a little, pat yourself again on the back, and then when you're ready to go on and you want to go even further now, I'll be here as always for you. But until then, hey, you know what to do. Take care. Stay safe.